we would just look at it again. We would look at rules. Of course, we are going to talk about it at the workplace, but you see, in general as well, we need to appreciate and look at rules and how are they important? How do they really help us to just navigate, around, at workplace or maybe in other different areas of our lives? To just appreciate how those can be, important, and or maybe if they have any type of cons, maybe some disadvantage to them. I don't know. But today, I just want us to have an open discussion and just share our different point of views about that. And I wanted to start by, of course, acknowledging that rules, and especially workplace rules, are really important, of course. I hope we all can appreciate and agree to this, but we are free to, dispute this. But I want to say that, yes, personally, I acknowledge that these are quite important because, of course, I don't think there's any society or community or environment that would function without rules, directives just to follow in order to, to stay on track and controlled in a way. Because I think if we do not have some expectations or requirements that are put in place for each and everyone to follow and be aware of, everyone will be doing whatever they feel like doing, however they want to do it. And this will definitely bring in some really serious conflict, and especially at workplace, because of course, as a workplace, as Moracle that we are talking about today, hopefully, or any other type of workplace environment, we have a vision, we have a predefined vision that has been existent for so many more years before even each and everyone probably joined. And other people are going to come after us, and they will find this vision that was established even before every other work started. And for this vision to be accomplished and all this mission to be accomplished, there must be some direction that people need to take. There must be a direction for everyone to follow if possible. And the only way we can do this is if there are some rules that are put in place that govern our behaviors, that govern our actions, and how we carry ourselves at work. And this is not necessarily, those very strict rules that tell you not to do this or do this, but they could just be, some governing measures that are put in place to direct our steps, to just, should I say, put some sort of clarity in what we do. For example, I could just talk about the Moracle standards, for example. These are just standards that are very normal, I believe, to everyone, that anyone can come up with for their own lives or whatever projects, simply putting some sort of standard, like I would say one, maybe working respectfully, just respecting everyone at work, for example. This is just a standard that is normal, I think, for every, normal human being in whatever you do. Just remember to remain respectful of the people you're working with or the clients or whoever you interact with on a daily basis, or, every day, just remember to respect the people you work with, the people you're interacting with. So that is a standard, but in a way, it could be just a rule that is put in place so that we deliver the objectives that we have as Moracle. How does this help us to actually achieve what we have in place as Moracle, as a Moracle team? So that's how I want to show, for example, how important these rules, workplace rules, are for our, for our general good, personally, and also as a group, as Moracle group, I think. And many more examples could be, brought up by anyone from us. And so I think, yeah, that's how I wanted to show that. But again, I do not want to ignore the fact that some rules can be put in place and, just constitute a sort of a limiting measure to people's creativity or openness, if I could say, or freedom of expression. Sometimes you will have rules in a workplace that really do not allow people to openly express themselves, openly talk about what is not right at work, openly, express their dissatisfaction, if I could say, or maybe rules that do not allow them to actually perform well, because maybe it doesn't really bring that work-life balance to allow them to just, have this balance in their lives, and that's where I will talk about the cons of workplace rules, especially the rules that just brings too much pressure on people and in the process limiting them to perform well. And so that's when we can also dispute the fact that workplace rules are quite important. For example, I'm thinking about maybe rules that they require someone to dedicate almost half of their day at work. Yes, of course. Sorry. Of course, it will happen that maybe there are some really strict deadlines coming up, and we really need to be at work extra hours just to meet these deadlines, which is okay and acceptable. And in such situation, of course, we can always stretch ourselves. And I know somewhere in our standards and vision and values, we are expected to do this. Sometimes just stretch a little bit in order for you to do more whenever it's required of you. But I think when this is a constant, way of doing things, then it can really have some negative impacts. And hopefully, and I believe this is not the case for Moracle, at least for myself, I can say this. I don't think that's how we work here, because we are led by leaders who understand the importance of work-life balance. Basically, I think we can all say that and experience that. We have our own experience when it comes to that. And yeah, so I think that's just how I wanted to bring up this topic. Anyone can feel free to talk about it and just show us more examples of how we can actually appreciate the importance and necessity to have workplace rules. And another thing maybe would be for me to talk about how we need to emphasize workplace rules, even when they are known to everyone. Yeah, people have these documents, we know our standards, we know our values, which can constitute the rules that we work with. But sometimes people do not follow them every day. People might take them for granted because, well, they're normal things that are, every human being at least should be able to do. But we need to emphasize them and repeat them and always remind ourselves that actually they are very important, and it's serious that we take them and consider them every day in our work, so that we reach the performance that is expected of us, I think. So please feel free to give us your point of view, your opinions on this topic. Tell us how you think maybe workplace rules could not be very interesting or good for the performance of the team or personal performance or development, and any other ideas that you have on this topic. Thank you so much. Feel free to come in. Thanks. Yes, anyone wants to contribute to today's topic, please feel free.
Okay, thanks, Annette. Yeah, I think I'll just also piggyback on what you were saying before, that rules are necessary because in basically any organization, whether it's a family unit or company, there'll be rules, because everyone has a different way that they do things. I'm sure that for most of us, if there's any other organization that you've worked at, that maybe there's a different way that they will do what they do. So, and I really believe that when these rules or I would say regulations, are put in place, they're put in place to bring in organization. Yeah, they're put in place to bring out the best for that unit, and also bring out the best in even in us who are part of the unit. So, for example, if we always have like our morning meetings every day, and we have to log on by 9. Yeah, so maybe that's like one of the regulations that we have. But if there was no regulations, that means that, let's say, people just come in anytime that they want. So if I need to speak to Alette, I'm not sure when Alette is going to be around, because there is no regulations of when she's supposed to come home or something like that. So sometimes it's just for the organization of the workplace. Yeah, I'm sure even most of us at our homes, we've had rules, growing up, you're told, you have to be home by a certain time, things like that. It's just for organization, because if everyone comes at any time that they want, there's just a disorganization. So I feel like I don't think that there is any organization or any unit that has gone far if there are no clear out principles. This is why people have a vision. This is why people have a mission. Yeah, because there is something that they're trying to achieve. We're not just here to waste time. People are not just going to work to waste time. There is something that they're trying to achieve. So there has to be certain things that are laid out, so that people know how they should behave, in certain places, and even as maybe as nations have laws. You'd say laws are also like rules, right? If there were no rules or regulations to say that laws, you're not supposed to do this, so if you do this, there will be consequences, and everybody would be free to do whatever they want. Yeah. And some of the things that people do are not lawful. So for me, I really believe that if anyone has to go anywhere, there has to be, rules and certain regulations in place. Like even you as a person, like not just even at the workplace, but even you as a person, when you want to do certain things, or you want to take your life somewhere, you have to have the discipline to put certain rules, right, in your life. Like, for example, you would tell yourself, I need to wake up early so that I can be able to go to work, right? That's a rule. Because otherwise, if you were lawless and you didn't have any rules, then you could sleep however much you want, or you could do whatever you want. But because there's certain things that you want to do with your life, you would maybe spend how, the way you want. But because there's certain things that you want to do with your life, then you put certain rules, you've put certain regulations. Yeah. And yeah, so for me, I would say that's maybe a pro that I would see, that it helps us actually get to where we want to go. There is organization where we know that this is the structure and this is what we are doing and this is how we behave. Like one of the standards that we have at Moracle is respect, So I know I cannot just come to Alert, I cannot just come to Sukesh and just talk anyhow. Yeah, because it's a regulations. You have to treat people with respect. You have to treat your clients with respect. And if we realize that you're not treating people with respect, you're not treating clients with respect, we're going to bring you aside and tell you, no, this is not how we behave as Morocco, because one of our rules or one of our regulations is we have to respect the people we work with. We have to respect our clients. Yeah. So I think for me that would be a pro, and maybe a con would be, if the rules are toxic, and that's anywhere, I think you mentioned something, that if maybe, you expect maybe people to work for extensive hours all the time, that would not be healthy. So I think if the rules are generally not healthy, if they're affecting, people, maybe they're affecting them mentally, or they're affecting them in their physical health, something that maybe the rules are kind of like detrimental to their health or something like that. If they're toxic in any way, then that could be, let's say that could be a con. Yeah. But I feel like for the most part, rules are really there to bring in order, to bring in that kind of, the kind of organization to our society, so that people don't just do anything that they want. I was actually watching a very funny video yesterday, and like how growing up your parents always have rules, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. So this mother was visiting her daughter, and she just entered the house and she was doing anything she wanted, putting her things anywhere she wanted, and like the daughter was complaining, but this is how she was trying to tell her daughter, this is how you used to be, you don't want to follow the rules of the house, and trying to show her what it means that a home has to have Rules, yes. So I feel like basically any unit, not just a workplace, any unit, nations, any unit has to have have rules. Yeah. And I feel like rules, sometimes people see it in a bad way, but rules can also be seen as a culture. Like that's how we treat ourselves. Yeah. Like here in Uganda, there's certain tribes, yeah, where it's like a culture, more like a rule. You don't greet your elders while you're standing, you have to kneel. Yeah. So it's, for me, I see it like it's a culture. Like people have different cultures, they have different regulations, and also in a way, rules will set you apart, yeah, in your results, in the way that you do things. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda, for that interesting contribution. Yeah, I like the last part mostly, where you actually associate rules to culture, and I think that's an easier way to look at it, because most times people look at rules as these measures that just put in place to just stress them, to just put them on pressure.
Yeah.
But I think if you actually get to understand as a person that this is just a way that people do things here, it's simply that, it's nothing more. It's just a cultural thing to them. And I think that will be easier for you. And even when you're trying to practice it, then it will be easier because you take it so lightly. You simply have to carry yourself in the way that people do it in this specific community or environment or workplace. And I do remember us talking about this, of course, that, we all come from different places of the world. We have worked with different organizations before, so we have our own experience, which is good that we come together, we can contribute, we can share, we can help each other to learn from each other. But we are also at Moracle. This is what brings us together. And so we need, if not have to, we really need to just do things the Moracle way. We have to learn how things are done at Moracle and adopt that. It's true that I come with my own experience, and I would probably like to continue doing things that way, but I have to understand that, yes, this could be a positive to add to what Moracle does, but again, I have to first understand what Moracle does, how do they do it, what do they believe in, and actually adopt what is done here. And the same way with the different clients that we serve, who are also different, and so understanding them also personally to that level. It's just a way that you adapt and integrate everything together to work for your favor and the general good. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. Who else would like to come through? Just to give us what you think, tell us what you think about today's topic. Please feel free.
Yeah, good morning everyone.
Morning,
So
morning, Skesh.
yeah, yeah. So I just want to add few things. Uh, like having rules are important in company because like we may come from different cultures and we may behave different things. But when we are in say, one company, like company may have rules and regulations which employees need to follow. So see, following rules are very essential because like you can't behave in what what you want. Like you need to behave like what company needs. Like well, there'll be some kind of respect, like which employee needs, which seniors needs. So like coming on time, like maintaining punctuality, and like there are like some kind of rules which company establishes. So um like setting up clear and consistent rules, and following them is main thing in a company, I can say. Because um, company have company may have different things like working scheduled hours. So sometimes we may work overtime also. But there are certain things like uh, they like advantages and disadvantages. But yeah, at last, like having rules and following them uh, gives a better understanding of what company is, and how to work in the company, and how, like, yeah, it goes like that. And like having rules gives like having rules makes employee to feel safe, because like when someone does some mistake in the company, like giving information to others, like giving information to others what company has, like what you can say, confidential matters and all. Like if the company don't establish any kind of rules, and if the employee discloses the information, the confidential information to some other, like it would be a very serious matter, I can say. So before that, like uh, explaining the rules and regulations of the company to the employees is very essential to understand them and make them follow, I can say. And there will be some cons also, because nowadays, like we companies don't like I've seen that recently, like companies don't give flexibility in many things. So like like employees may feel like what I can say, employees feel very hard to work over there, and they resign and they look some other job in the company. So I want to say this because I've recently seen in LinkedIn post that someone has resigned because of their rules, and because of their working hours, because of their like force work, but overtime. Yeah, I can say. And someone has resigned because of his manager, I can say. See, like a company may have rules, but forcing employees to work in many, like overtime, is very very like bad, we can say. And nowadays I've seen many posts in social media that like if employee wants to take some leave, or if employee wants to take some half day leave or something, like managers are not intending to give a leave also, I can say. They are asking many what you can say, proofs to give a leave, like even if the proof is genuine and they are not giving. So it's like yeah, there are some cons, but yeah, having rules is part of a company, I can say, and following them is a better thing uh, in a company. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Sukesh, for that. Thank you again for just, emphasizing the importance of the rules, workplace rules, and how they just allow people to follow, the vision and just conduct them properly at the workplace, and avoid some risky behaviors, like especially, at Moracle, this is a remote company. We are all working from wherever we are, no one knows what you're doing. But the only thing that we can be sure of is that you follow the rules, like especially in terms of confidentiality matters, for example. This is a very sensitive point. Of course, we are dealing with also sensitive information from clients, and so we can only trust that you will actually protect the clients and their information when we know that there's a rule about confidentiality that you have agreed upon, and that's how we just can try to appreciate and actually acknowledge the importance of workplace rules and how they help us to just not protect the company, but even ourselves. Because if I do not know that confidentiality is such a very important matter for me to respect, I might find myself talking about everything to whoever I find, and that will also have some repercussion for myself. It could be legal or any other sorts of repercussion, which will not be good for you as well. So somehow, of course, in the same way, these rules protect both the company and yourself against some sorts of such situations. Yeah, so thank you so much, Sukesh, for that. Please, could there be person who wants to contribute, before we end our session of this morning? Anyone? Just 1 minute, maybe?
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning, Noah.
In relation to workplace rules, the pros and cons, I can say here is that if an organization has a rule, then automatically it can contribute to the clarity and consistency of the workplace. Rules, let me say, rules provide clear expectation about how employee should be able to behave within a working environment. Just like how you mentioned, okay, I think Linda mentioned that if we are just coming here without any rules, then it might be we'll be just working how we just want to. But basically, whilst we having a rule here, is that because the organization want to ensure that each and every task that is done here is done within our the Moracle way. Just like whatever when you always hear Mola tell you now, you know what, you might know how to do this and do that, but we can let's ensure that we are doing it the Moracle way. It doesn't mean you just don't know how to do it. It means you know, but yet still we should be able to do it in a way and manner in which it will be in alignment with the Moracle way. Another thing again is about quite recently there's a rule, let's say, let me just say, okay, there's a rule, let's say, whenever we are holding a session or a meeting, at least each and every video must be turned on. So for me, I'm sorry for that, because my internet, if I turn on my video now, I feel like my internet will not good. So that, like, we are maintaining something, because you add that, oh, what we are doing here, we are playing, or let me say, sorry, we are working on people bank account or so, and they need to know us. This client need to see the people that they are working with. So you see, it's very important for us to abide by some of these rules. Another thing again, you will hear when Linda or Alex we say, you know what, anything so far that you are working on, you need to post them on the upload them on the OneDrive. Because you know why you need to do that? It's because maybe a time will come I will not be here. So, but even if it's on the OneDrive, you might just go there and don't look at it. That's it's all about the protection of the company or the safety of the company asset or so. So you see, and again, let's take a look at the productivity issues when it comes to the workplace goals. In terms of us here at Moracle, how we are operating, because it's okay, it's the promotion or the fairness of the rule that we have here. Each and everyone that is working within the Moracle, if you are a consultant, any work so far that you are doing, you are having 1/3 of that amount that you are working on. If, for instance, you are working on in a job, and then let me say the job they are paying, the client is paying 5,000. You have, if you're a consultant and then you're working on the job, you will have 1/3 of that amount. So it's a rule. It promotes fairness. That's what has been there. So you see, it shows that you know what, this is a rules and regulation that the company has put in place. So you just, as an employee, you just need to work towards that rule. How you can be able to be productive in terms of you enhancing the way you do your work, and how you can be able to work in more tasks and then earn more. So these are all rules that are here which are, like, let me say, these are like a positive, the positive, the pros, the advantage of setting up a rules. Because if these rules were not here, then trust me, an employee or a consultant will just come and say, you know what, I've done this, I've done that, but I'm not seeing anything. But the rules are here. When you're done with this, you will see somebody will tell you, okay, or you will just send in your invoice, say, okay, this and this is what I did. So then they look into it and see, yes, because it's a rule that has been set and it's here. So you see, and another thing again, while in terms of the cons of rule, it's about the misrepresentation. No, quite recently I fall into it wherein I was thinking that, when you are working as a consultant, this is basically mainly based on what we are operating on here in Moracle. The way and manner in which I was giving out the information is that, okay, you know what, as a consultant, when you are working, let me say, if you are working on any task, you will have a fixed amount. No, as a consultant here, your amount is not fixed in whatever thing you're doing. this in whatever thing you are doing, your amount is somehow like it's fluctuating. Today you might have little, so tomorrow you might have more. That's how the rule operates here. So it's like it's I was given the information as a misrepresentation, which of course I thought, okay, you know what, as a consultant, if you are working on this client alone, each and every month, that amount should be yours. No, that's not how the rule operates here. So you see, but these for me, I can say these are the cons of the rule, because if I give out any misrepresentation, I poorly communicate any rules to my colleague, then it's like these are some of the cons of we setting up rules and regulation within the working environment. So this is my own take on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Noel, for that. Thank you for also, bringing up the importance of actually, communicating the right information, to maintain, clarity and good performance. Because of course, wrong information can lead to quite serious consequences. So it's really important to have clear information and especially informed information. Clear information which will actually inform decisions, and because then people are able to understand and know the right information, and so take decision based on that, and avoid the different consequences that can come from not having the right information. Yeah. So thank you for that example again. I think we are going to end our session of today here. Thank you everyone for your participation. Thank you for your contribution. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Thank you. Just a few announcements before we leave.